Hey kid, did you know it takes all kinds of critters to make Farmer Vincent's fritters?
I don't know what you're talking about, but this meat tastes delicious.
I know, it's people.
You ready to talk some movies, Brennan?
Yeah, okay.
Well, let's go. Corrupted youth. Corrupted youth. Corrupted youth. Corrupted youth.
That's right, folks. In 1 year, my father has not learned how to play the harmonica yet.
I was watching The Last Drive-In,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh wait, they have like a harmonica bit after he talks, and I'm like, oh, I totally did not steal it from there though. Because we're supposed to be hanging out at the campfire,
Yeah.
and I don't have an acoustic guitar, so... Because can you imagine how terrible that would be?
That would be pretty awful.
Oh yeah, hi, I'm Dan.
I'm Brennan.
And this is the Corrupted Youth Podcast. We're a father and son duo that explores the latest blockbusters, classic genre films, and the schlackiest of golden age VHS rental store flicks in spoiler-heavy fashion. We're rusty. We have not
little
done
bit.
this. We haven't done this in a while. We missed last month because personal things, man. Everything just hit the fan at once. It was crazy, but we're doing okay. We're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's sick or anything. Just stuff happened. Couldn't get to it.
We had to move 3 states. We have different names now.
Oh man, we already used our real names.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, whatever. Nobody listens to this anyway. Who are we doing this for? This is our summer slasher camp. So for the next 3 months, every movie that we do was picked by the members of our Facebook group in the Dongle Den, and we already did our drawing. We did all the things. Listen to our previous episode. No, wait, no, we didn't cover it in that, did we? I don't remember.
The live stream.
Oh yeah, we did a live stream. It's in the Dongle Den. But anyways, this is Motel Hell that we're covering, and Bridget from the Dongle Den. This ended up being one of her selections, and this is the one that didn't have to get drawn from a hat.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So the consensus was everybody go for it. But here's the thing. There was a little contention on what movies are slashers and what are not.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to come up with a special formula just for us. We are going to have 5 tropes picked by each of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Brennan has 5, I have 5. We did not discuss what they are ahead of time, but if it meets what would you say, a 50% or more criteria? Or would you want like a little more?
I'd
over
say
50?
Since we each chose 5,
Mhm.
I'd say per our own criteria, 3 or more.
Yes.
So
but we're combining them.
combining them, so 6.
Okay. So it has to meet at least 6 of our tropes. I'm glad we just figured this out now.
Yeah, you had to hear that live.
Yeah, so then it will determine, according to us, whether or not it is a slasher. So there, problem solved, everybody.
Woohoo!
But it's all right because we're going to have fun because it's Summer Slasher Camp.
Yeah.
And this year's Summer Slasher Camp, unfortunately, last year's had to have a dedication too. But this year is dedicated to our fellow Dongle, Mandy, who passed away in April. She will be missed. But this Slasher Camp, this is for you, Mandy. So that out of the way. First time viewing, Brennan?
Yes, it is.
You are incorrect. You did not have a first time viewing. You watched a good chunk of it a couple years ago, and your mom actually watched some of it too.
Really?
And you two made fun of it, and you said it was dumb.
I mean, it's probably true.
But you didn't watch the whole thing.
No.
I think it was just like the back chunk. So I'm surprised you did not even remember.
Yeah,
That's not gonna bode well for this movie.
probably not.
First time I saw it was on Monster Vision with Joe Bob Briggs
Nice.
in the 90s, and I had never seen it before, and it blew my mind. Does it still blow my mind? We'll find
We'll
out.
talk about it.
Yeah, let's get some IMDb info. So according to IMDb, Motel Hell is described as a seemingly friendly farmer and his sister kidnap unsuspecting travelers and bury them alive, using them to create special meat they are famous for. And that's it. Thank you. We're out.
That's actually a pretty good little description.
It is, because there's not a whole lot to this.
No.
It's pretty simple. Pretty coherent too, as far as story goes. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
It was directed by Kevin Connor, and I will say this up front. I took a look at his information as far as like his work goes, and all his directing stuff is mostly television shows and even more so made for TV movies.
Well, that's always a good sign.
And it definitely shows with this, because I'm going to say that the entire thing feels like a TV movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it has, and then I'm not saying that's necessarily bad either, because it's very competent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not complaining about the directing in this movie whatsoever.
No.
I can't fault it for that. It's just kind of generic.
It's a little bland.
Yeah, it's very flat
Yeah.
in most scenes. So that's pretty typical of the time period too.
Yeah.
Cast is Rory Calhoun, Paul Link, Nancy Parsons, Nina Axelrod, and let's throw in Wolfman Jack.
Nice.
famous radio DJ Wolfman Jack has a bit part in this as Reverend Billy, where mostly he just kind of sits in a chair and mumbles.
Yeah.
And then there's like one other scene where he's outside. So they had a thing on TV recently in our area for this car show at a casino that benefited veterans, and clearly they were going for an old school rock and roll type thing, and the guy who did the voiceover for the commercial was doing Wolfman Jack, and it showed here for probably 2 months straight, and I just kept making fun of it every time because it'd start off and he'd be like, "Hey everybody," but I was always telling your mom that it would be funny if he just started everything off like that, but then got into really personal things and only still you talked like that all the time.
That would be funny.
Where it was like, "Hey everybody, Denise left me and I'm sad. I should have paid more attention to her needs and treated her with respect, but I didn't."
She always told me to stop doing this voice, and I kept on doing it.
Wolfman Jack, though, pretty iconic. Even had his own cartoon show.
If he got into a fight with Casey Kasem, who would win?
Oh, Wolfman Jack.
Yeah?
Without a doubt. Yeah. Unless Casey Kasem brought in his crazy wife.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah. Enough about that sidetrack. I just really wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, yeah, we've got a trailer too, I guess. Here's trailer.
There's a friendly motel
We'd like a room for the night. Come on inside, I'll fix you up.
featuring a heated pool and competitive sports. Where Ida and Farmer Vincent tend a garden. Their famous secret garden for very special guests. Drop in. You just might die laughing. Motel Hell, rated R.
Yeah, that was trailer.
That was a really neat trailer. Thanks for showing me.
I mean, I guess we can just talk about our 4 main characters. We have Farmer Vincent.
The best part of this movie.
Oh, absolutely. I say this movie does not work without this man's charm as an actor.
Yeah.
He plays it so sincere and straight,
Mm-hmm.
and never really comes off as evil. He just plays it so matter of fact.
Yeah.
And that's probably really good for this movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's no suspense to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's just none. Everything's just upfront about what's happening. They never try to hide anything.
There's no mystery.
There's absolutely no mystery at all.
Yeah.
They try to set up a little bit of mystery.
The mystery is what's in that meat like cellar thing. Like, oh, what's in there?
Oh, like the garden area?
Not the garden.
Oh,
Like that building
yeah.
that they make all the meat in.
Oh,
They like prepare it. Because it was always like, oh, it's behind that door. Like, oh, it can't go back there. Can't go behind this door.
But you already know what's in there.
Yeah, but you know it's in there. It's humans.
They've already talked about it.
Yeah. So there really is no. And also, I guess the only sort of tension comes from the fact that you don't think that the main character is safe at all. The main girl, when we get to her.
Sure, yeah. We also his sister Ida, probably she's the most mean-spirited, I guess, but she plays it very childlike almost.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was explicitly said that they're brother and sister. Because I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, are they married? Are they related?
He calls her his little sister at
Oh.
one point. But that was the first time that I noticed too, because they don't really make that clear.
Yeah, and when I first saw it, I remember a long time ago, I just was always confused on it. And then, I don't know. I guess I should have paid better attention.
Yeah.
But it is weird that two grown siblings live together.
It is weird. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, it's not that that can't happen, but if you're making meat sticks out of people, then yeah, it gets even weirder. Because anything's possible at that point.
Yeah, I guess so.
We also have Terry, who the whole kidnapping thing, because what happens is Vincent goes out and he will get people on the back country road. He'll disable their vehicle somehow. And then, like it says, kidnaps them. They bury them in this garden area. They put sacks over their heads. They take out their vocal cords. They can't scream or anything. They just gurgle. But everybody sounds exactly the same.
Yeah.
There's no difference. It's always like,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. It sounds like the same person
Yeah.
for all of them.
Yeah, they just had like one guy do it.
Yeah.
That was it. Called it a day. Yeah, I was going to research into what it takes to not the smoking process. I get the meat smoking process, but the reason why they buried them.
Yeah.
And I think that is a thing. If anybody knows about processing meat. And should you, like, I don't know, stick a cow in the ground for a while? Like, I don't know if they're just like fattening them up because they fed them through the tubes.
Didn't really feed them a lot though.
No, but they definitely gave them like some type of gruel or something that they could suck through tubes.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that's how Terry comes into the picture, because she's riding with her motorcycle enthusiast boyfriend down the road, and they get the tire shot out. And the thing is with this, and this is definitely going to factor into probably our tropes, is that they don't murder anybody instantly in this.
Yeah.
They just have them get into an accident and then drug them or whatever, or take them in they're not murdering them right off the hop.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I mean, it's interesting for this movie though.
Yeah.
I mean, they have this whole entire process, and they get into it with a little backstory. But yeah, anyways, there's also the other sibling who's a cop.
Also confusing. Also didn't know he was a sibling for a while.
Right. They were a little more forward with that, calling him little brother or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then later on, it just gets explained towards the end for, like, I guess to just be like, well, how did he not know that they're putting people in the meat all this time if it's a family business and they've been doing it forever? Well, he ran away from home when he was 11. Came back when he got older.
Sure.
I guess.
I don't even really see where him being a sibling was that big of a factor.
No, it didn't even have to be a thing.
Yeah. It just was a little confusing.
It really was. The movie's just a series of, setups to get people to bury in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
There's the part with the band, with Ivan and the Terribles, which that van looked pretty cool.
Yeah, they looked really cool.
That was an awesome paint job
Yeah.
of Ivan on the front. There was also a band, trying to remember how long ago it was. It was in the north central Wisconsin area. They would tour, and it was Ivan and the Terribles. So I got the reference. Never got to see them though, so I don't know. Maybe they were terrible. If you were in Ivan and the Terribles in Wisconsin, right on in.
Could you imagine if a dongle turned out to be an Ivan and the Terribles?
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be really awesome.
Yeah, but not this band. One of the guys famously in this band is also John Ratzenberger, who is famous for being in Cheers, playing Cliff Clavin, the mailman, and also he was in Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, and he was also the pig, like the piggy bank in Toy Story.
Oh, you should have led with that.
Yeah, and House 2, can't forget House 2. House 2 is pretty cool.
House 2 is really cool. Never seen House 1.
No? Oh my
No.
god, you gotta see it. Because the guy who plays Norm from Cheers is in that one.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. I don't know if there was just like some weird connection with that or if it's just a coincidental thing.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But those movies aren't even really related. Moving along. Let's see. What other type of victims are there? There's the weird sex couple.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I did kind of like that. I shouldn't call them. They're just like kinky. They're just really kinky.
Mm-hmm.
And they show up. So apparently one of the setups that Vincent did was he put an ad out in some paper. So like, I guess back then it would have to be in like a sex magazine that somebody could find it. And that's why they show up there, because they're expecting like a kinky good time. And, you know, it's just playing all the dumb things. I like it when the lady has the whip
Yeah.
and is just whipping everything in the room for no reason.
Yeah. It's a long scene, too.
Yeah.
Just her just whipping everything in that room.
Yeah. And the guy comes out wearing all sorts of different garb.
Yeah. It was pretty funny.
It was funny. And I think this movie is supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think that's what they were going for, because it never gets too dark and serious.
Mm-hmm.
It's very playful,
Yeah.
even though the subject matter is kind of dark. So I do appreciate that about it, is that if you just kind of know that,
Mm-hmm.
then it works. But, you know, even in that one, he uses gas. He did it to the guys in the van too, just pumped in gas.
Yeah.
So they all went unconscious. And there was just like another two ladies where he set up cutouts of cows and they had to move it.
That one was a little weird.
That was it was a lot cheesy.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that you would have that initial reaction of, oh, cows, but then it took them way too long to realize that they weren't real, because they did not look.
They were also
Real.
pretty dumb.
I mean, I guess it's at like late 70s, early 80s, so, you know, everybody was probably high.
Yeah.
There's a lot of marijuana and cocaine going around. Some lewds. I don't know. I don't want to get too into that. Oh, we also have the inspector guy who came by, and he kind of gets suspicious that something's up, that there's something weird going on. I don't think he thinks it's people by any means,
Yeah.
but Vincent is just kind of a jerk to him too, on
Mhm.
top of it. So, like, why would you raise those suspicions? I don't get it. But yeah, he ended up like sneaking and I shouldn't even say sneaking, because he wasn't very sneaky.
No.
He just kind of shows up at night to snoop around and then gets caught right away. So these are all the people that are just buried in the ground in this garden area. No vocal cords, sacks on their heads, getting fed through a tube.
Scary concept.
It is a scary concept, but it's also, because of the comedy of this movie, it just never feels threatening, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so back to Terry, the girl. I guess Vincent just has a thing for her, and it's a lot of this movie is just this. It's actually a very innocent older man, younger woman relationship that buds from this, because his brother, the cop, like has a thing with her and tries putting the moves on her. Gets way too handsy.
Definitely.
And when they're like stealing the drive-in movie, which is weird, because they go up to the lover's lane, and then he gets everybody to leave who's having sex in their cars, so that they can just watch this movie with binoculars and listen to it over the police radio.
Seems really extra.
It does. You know what? It probably was not that expensive to go see a movie back then, especially with the drive-in.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it was because my mom would always make me like hide under a blanket to try to look younger, so she didn't have to pay as much for me to get in.
That's pretty great.
I never had to hide like in the trunk or anything, but it was definitely try to look younger because you're too tall and gangly. Man, what are you gonna do? You could just be like, no, seriously, this kid's like only so old. Whatever. But that's pretty much the movie as far as plot goes. I mean, I don't know. I guess we could talk about that relationship a little bit more because it does get to a point where Vincent does propose to her.
Mm-hmm.
And Terry is just like, all right, like, let's get it on because, you know, we're going to get married. And he wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So that's even weirder that he's just that, he has that high of morals, I guess, where he wants to wait until they're married. And they might not even, it doesn't even, like, I didn't get that vibe that they would even be, it was just an emotional relationship.
Yeah, it was really odd.
And there's also, like, the weird jealousy with the sister, too,
Mm-hmm.
where she tries to drown her when they're out in the inner tubes, like, just hanging out in the pond. That was weird, too.
Yeah, that was also weird. Didn't really go anywhere either. I guess it was a lot harder for her when she realized that they were using people, like when she found out.
But they didn't necessarily, he didn't necessarily groom her or anything.
Not at all.
Just, I mean, granted, the circumstances under which she is at that home is totally messed up.
Yes.
But if you take that out of this, and let's say he legitimately found her after an accident and nursed her back to health, I could see that. Like, I don't know. And then when she asked about her boyfriend, Boris or whatever, Bo.
Yeah.
And they were like, the excuse is, oh, well, he died and I buried him. And then, like, she's like, that's really messed up.
Yeah.
You can't just do that. And the cop's like, well, you can in this county. And I'm like, oh, man, just the sticks, especially in like that time period. That's back when you could still just get away with stuff like that.
Yeah. And then she like moves on from him really fast.
Yeah.
She like cries at his grave and then she's just loving her life in the country.
Yeah. And just how Vincent is like, well, we could just use some extra hands around here for help. I'm like, man, so you're just going to make her work right?
You never even see her working.
No. You don't really see anybody working.
No one's
until,
working.
Like, the end of the movie.
No one even stays at the motel. That couple kind of do.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because when they go to do their shenanigans at night, well, I guess you do see people working because they tend to
their garden.
Yeah, but you never really see Terry working. What is she doing?
Yeah.
She's not tending to those people.
No.
But then, man, yeah. It's kind of dumb, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's something else we should talk about? The whole process afterwards. Like, you don't really get to see much. There's not a lot of gore in this.
Barely any.
Barely any. You get to see, like, later on, like, how they'll wash the bodies, but they also, like, so with the three guys that they did actually, like, you see them kill them, like, they hypnotized them beforehand.
Yeah.
So that it was a more humane process. I say that, like, that's the only term I can come up with. Like, they were trying to be nice about it. So they, like, hypnotize them and then, like, break their necks by yanking them with a trailer.
Which also doesn't make any sense. So they put like the nooses around their necks and they have the tractor and it pulls them, snaps their necks. And like the tractor even like rears up. And then later in that same scene, without changing it at all, they just drive the tractor and pull the bodies out.
Yeah. And did you notice that, like, I get the acting and stuff, but the guy in the middle was wiggling.
Yes,
he was still wiggling.
really bad. Yeah.
Like he was doing, oh, I'm having death spasms or something.
Yeah, you don't do that.
Yeah, because they were already supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, like they clean him up, they wash him, and then get him ready, like take out all the guts and stuff, because it's all stuff that was either going to be used to make sausage or whatever. And he only has like what did he say, 100-mile radius that he serves his meats to and distributes it. But then like it only seems like you can get it there because they can't be making that much. And the people factor, if you have like any type of distribution beyond that one location, I can't see there being like, you got to have way more pork in there or beef or whatever.
Yeah, there can't be a lot of human.
Yeah, it would have to be a small amount. But apparently that's what makes it good, is the people inside it.
Although when the cop dude found like that marsh area or whatever where all the cars are being dumped, he said that there were hundreds of cars in there.
Yeah, he also said that he did some detective work.
He did say that, yeah. So I
did some detective work.
Yeah. But also, like, this is a family business, and they've been doing this for at least their lifetime.
But I don't think they weren't adding people. Only Farmer Vincent he started the people.
He started the people, but still,
because they tell the story about when he was a kid, and he put the dog.
Yeah.
He smoked a dog and put it in some meat, and the grandma loved it. And that's kind of how it got started.
But still, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people over all those years.
Yes.
Like hundreds of people.
Sure.
Hundreds of vehicles. Hundreds of missing people reports in the same area.
Oh, here's the thing, though. Back then, you don't have the database of missing persons like you do now.
Oh, totally. Yeah, no, I understand that. I totally get that. But, like, I could get, a couple dozen people even in that time. But, like, hundreds of people, that, I think that would at least draw some attention.
This is also not, like, the titty twister from Dusk Till Dawn, where behind there was, like, the big crevasse filled with semis and cars and trucks.
Yeah,
and
that was
everything.
pretty crazy.
Because over time, they got to go somewhere. What do you do with it?
Mm-hmm.
And even the amount of time he spent, you can't just go dumping them in a pond.
Yeah.
Was that the same pond they were in earlier, too? Like, it's unclear. There would be a lot of vehicles to have to hide.
A lot. Yeah.
You think you would come up with a better system.
Yeah, you'd think that you would get them without a vehicle.
And I'm sure that some people would come there to stay at the hotel, and then because like when the kink couple comes in, he doesn't have them register, so that way there's no proof that they were there,
which was smart. Yeah,
that was a smart move. So what we're saying is you got to come up with a better plan if you're going to cannibalize people into your smoked meats.
I'd say modernize the process, get an app for it, a website.
But I mean, like the cop brother, though, like when Vincent was like, saying that he's the biggest cannibal after Terry finds out what's happening.
Yeah.
Because eventually this entire thing just kind of goes to hell real quick. Because Terry's boyfriend ends up digging his way out of the ground. He's that determined. And also, I will say this, because if you think that the relationship between Vincent and Terry a little creepy because he's much older.
So was this boyfriend.
So was Bo. So she was definitely had a thing for older guys.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that weird then.
It's still weird, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean the whole thing's weird if you think about it, but yeah. So she had a type.
Yeah. That's a nice detail actually.
I don't think it was intentional because I think I don't know. Isn't it like always like older guys are always trying to get the younger women?
I guess.
I mean, it's a thing.
Yeah, like in movies and stuff.
I know, it's a thing in real life.
In real life too, yes.
Sure.
Yes. But does it work all the time?
And no.
No.
Bo gets out, and then he gets all the other survivors who haven't been processed. He gets them out, and they kind of all go after Vincent and his sister, and it's not really explained what happens to most of them. Do they just run off?
Yeah, to any of them, actually.
Yeah, because it's not like they all get revenge. They get the sister.
And even then, you don't even see what happens to her. Last you see, she's getting, like, beat up. And then that whole
They show
thing.
her later, like, buried, like, head first
Yeah.
into the ground.
But everything, like, everyone else, you never see him again.
Yeah. Like, they don't even go after Vincent, really.
No, they don't. I was expecting that to happen.
Yeah.
Only the boyfriend does.
Oh, yeah. But then he ends up getting dumped in the smoker room.
Yeah.
So he actually, like, is that the only real victim murder?
Yes.
That's not going to bode well for this movie.
No.
Then we have Cop Brother and Farmer Vincent chainsaw fight. Not like there's a whole lot of chainsaw fights in movies, but this one ranks up there. I mean, I can think of 3 off the top of my head. So you have Motel Hell, you have Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and then you have Mandy.
Mm-hmm.
All decent chainsaw fights.
Chainsaw fight and the Resident Evil 7 game, which is really fun.
Oh,
But we're not going to count that.
yeah.
Just an example.
The impracticality of chainsaw fights, too.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody has ever really used a chainsaw, but notoriously, the chains break.
Yeah.
They're meant to do one thing, just cut through wood, and that's pretty much it.
Like imagine like taking 2 gears and chains off of a bike, spinning them really fast, and then just smacking them around. Those chains are going to go flying off.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with chainsaws, and they'll break. Like, so it's not really. It's cool. I'm not dissing. I'm not trying to be like, oh, the reality of this just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. But you know what? They're still awesome. That's my point.
Yeah.
I still like a good chainsaw fight. And this one's pretty cool too, because clearly the guy who played Vincent does not want to be involved with an actual chainsaw fight.
Mm-hmm.
So his stuntman is in there, so they have him wear a pig head, which completely impractical.
Totally.
This giant pig head that's on him. But iconic, you gotta give it that. And I think that's what a lot of people, when they think of this movie, are probably thinking of chainsaw fight
Yeah.
with pig head. And the cop brother, gets pretty messed up in this fight too.
He does. He gets slashed a lot.
Yeah. There is definitely some, it's not a clean fight. There are injuries on both sides until the fatal one where Vincent gets the chainsaw right in the side, which looks pretty cool.
It does, yeah. And I think that's the most gore that you get.
Yeah. I mean, other than torsos and stuff.
Sure, but
I mean, it's just meat to them, and that's the way it's just portrayed too.
yeah, it's just kind of there.
Yeah, because you see all the pigs hung up and everything. All those, well, they're probably just props. Also, they've got a lot of just kind of meat hanging around, sausage on a slicer. Like, is that just hanging out?
Yeah.
This seems like kind of unsafe conditions.
Unsanitary.
Yeah, I mean, for as good as the job that they do, they're also kind of like,
Kind of sloppy.
yeah, kind of sloppy.
Yeah,
Was
totally.
it appealing?
Oh,
They
totally.
kind of make it seem like
Well, if everyone's freaking out over it,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, would I? Like, if you put it in front of me?
If you knew it was people,
If I knew it was people, probably not.
I would not. But what do you do with the afterthought of like, oh man, I ate all those people. I ate so many people. How many people did I eat over time? That would be upsetting.
Yeah, that would be. Although, if it turns out like McDonald's is pumping human into their chicken nuggets or their McChickens, I'm still eating that. I can't lie. That's probably not going to stop me. They could be like, it's 30% human, 20% horse. The rest is unknown. I don't care.
I'm going to say this. I don't think I would be very upset if there were other animals. I would be upset by, but I mean, I don't even eat that much meat anymore, so I'm not really the greatest authority on this.
Humans just don't have like a lot of like good places, like good meaty parts to eat.
Yeah, you'd think he'd be a little more selective with who he wants
Yeah, he's just
taking anybody.
anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're taking that, the Ivan and the Terribles, that entire band, man.
So much drugs in them.
Yeah, all the drugs in their system.
Yeah.
That's probably not good for your meat processing. Oh, we tested your meat. Are they gonna probably find people in there? Not necessarily, but they're gonna find those drugs.
Mm-hmm. I did like the bit at the end where farmer guy's dying, and he's like, "I'm the biggest hypocrite of them all," and it's you think he's gonna have some like moral flip or something like that. He just says, "I use preservatives," and then he dies.
That was great.
Yeah, that was a pretty great line.
Like just the way he acts in this, you would expect him to have some regrets. Then it's just about preservatives.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really have much more to say about it until we get to our next phase.
Yeah, I guess just
Oh, I will say this. I did like the vehicles in this.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like that cop car. It's really
Cop
nice.
car. Yeah.
Even the family and their station wagon
Mm-hmm.
and his truck.
His truck was really cool.
His truck was awesome. You know what? Man, I should get on like better terms with the brother-in-law because he loves that specific truck. He's restored a few like that. It would be great to have one restored exactly like Farmer Vincent's. That would be great.
Yeah, and all the tens of people that would get that.
It would be cool though.
It would be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, real quick, font talk. I really love that font in the beginning of the movie.
The neon sign font.
That was really fun.
Fantastic. Yeah.
It was so just like that 70s vibe to it. Early 80s. I loved it.
Yeah. To the point where if they use that now in like a period piece of that time, I go, oh, that's a little cheesy.
Yeah, that's a little too on the nose.
Yeah, but not really.
No, it's not.
Worked
So,
really well.
Yeah. All right, you ready to move on?
Sure.
Let's wrap this up by just right now, give me your movie rating by saying movie and whether or not you would recommend it. And then
It's a movie.
Yeah.
It had a really interesting concept, and I think that what's his name, Farmer Vincent, he's the best part, but I just don't think that it executed all the ideas as well as it could have. This movie didn't really have a hero, and this movie didn't really feel like it had a main character, and even like the guys escaping from the garden, like everyone escaping, was completely unrelated to the main plot. So all the conflicts and everything were just kind of not set up very well. It's still entertaining, and I think that's mostly to do with Farmer Vincent, and I think the concept is very scary. This is actually a movie that I could see having a really good modern day remake. I think just another look at the concept would be really cool. But yeah, I do recommend it.
Yeah.
It's a loose recommendation.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's a fun movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I am very much in agreement on a lot of what you just said. I think it is a movie. I'm not very excited about saying movie because, I mean, it's a cult classic for a reason. Obviously, it has good appeal. Anybody could kind of get into this. You don't have to be, the super in the horror movies to get it or to enjoy watching it. It moves along pretty well.
Yeah.
It gets a little dull at one point, but it's because everybody, especially Farmer Vincent, is so charismatic. It kind of keeps you in.
Yeah.
And no scene ever goes on too long. It's very much a and then movie.
Yeah.
But not in a bad way. Like it just keeps going. Like they just had ideas and boom, boom, boom. Like we need to get all these ideas out there.
Yeah.
And they set a goal, they accomplished it, I guess. It's fun. It's never spectacular. I say it's a fair recommendation too. And is it a slasher? So, Brennan, please let the dongles know your slasher trope checklist.
So the first item on my checklist is the movie has to have 3 or more kills. I think 2 is too little because that's just 2 deaths. 3, I think, is a fair number. I still think that's low for a slasher movie, especially if it marketed itself as a slasher movie and there's only 3 kills. I'd be a little disappointed.
Sure.
But 3 kills, yes, this technically meets that qualification because there were 4 kills, maybe 5 if the sister died. She probably did.
Okay.
But that also wasn't killed. She wasn't killed by the slasher. I also put down an emphasis on the kills themselves.
Okay.
This is usually done through like gore or just how this scene is paced. That there's an emphasis on each kill, a setup. I don't think this really meets that. There was no like emphasis on the actual killings themselves. That wasn't what was driving the plot.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that almost made my list. Like I was gonna list it as gimmick,
Sure.
like a gimmick kills.
I put down that the killer of some kind is like hunting down prey in a way. Because most slasher movies, I'd say, it's like people on the run or, there's an alpha predator chasing them down.
Sure.
And I also put down that there's like a group of people being hunted. You usually get like a cast of some kind and you see them get hunted down.
Okay.
And then I did put down a gimmick unrelated to like the emphasis on the kills because you can still do that without like a gimmick of some kind.
Okay.
But yeah, I think, and that one also isn't like super necessary for it to be a slasher movie, but it definitely helps, especially to differentiate it from other killers. A gimmick of some kind is nice.
Yeah, and that was kind of my whole thought with that too, even though it didn't make mine. I had a whole bunch, but we'll get into mine. So carry on.
That was the 5th one.
Oh.
So under my list, it only really makes 1.
Okay.
Which was the 3 or more kills. So no, under my list, this is not a slasher.
Oh, interesting. So under mine, I put edged weapon kill at least 1.
Okay, I like that.
So I think that generally there's a multitude of different ways for a killer to kill people, but they're called slashers for a reason, and I think that there should at least be 1 edged weapon.
1 slashing.
Yes, 1 slash or stab, whatever. Just a knife, a sword, a machete, whatever. You can just fill the rest with pitchforks, chainsaws, whatever after that. I don't care. But there should just be 1. A good throat slashing would be...
Oh, of course, yeah.
Excellent. That did not happen in this movie. Moving on. I also have stalking / hunting of victims, which this box does get checked off because he did set up his little thing. It's a little loose to some degree because he does not actually murder them when he does the hunting and stalking of anyone. So it does happen, but I did check that one off.
Okay.
Even though they did not lead to a direct kill. But also put down peekaboo corpse. Do you know what that trope is?
Is it like a corpse jump scare?
Yes, where somebody will be going around and one of the previous victims pops up in some way.
That's a great item on the list. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I did not come up with that term. That is like
peekaboo corpse. I like that.
But that did not happen in this. I have vice kill because a lot of times in these movies it would be teenagers have sex.
Yeah.
Sex before marriage. Somebody does drugs.
Yeah. Let's all go skinny dipping.
Yeah. So while the vice aspect does come up in this, that also does not lead to direct kills. So I did not check it off because nobody's actually killed because they did it. So I didn't count that one for this. Although it was close. I will say that. And then I have a body count of at least 2 victims.
Why do you say 2, not 3?
I said 2 because I figured 2. Because I watched the movie The Clown Murders, and there was 1. You can't have a plural in that. I did leave out something like nudity, because there are known slashers that don't have nudity in it. Although this one had a lot of nudity.
Yeah.
surprisingly enough. That's probably how it got its R.
Yeah.
Mostly because of that. But hey, that gets butts and seats, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me, checked off 2 out of 5. I'm gonna say not a slasher.
Yeah.
It's an enjoyable movie, but not a slasher. Sorry, everybody who voted for that one. We thank you though for picking it out.
Yeah.
It was definitely. I still like the movie. It's just
Not a slasher. Hashtag not a slasher. Get that trending.
That's all I have. What say you, Brun?
I hope that the next 2 are slashers.
We're gonna find out because we're gonna go through them, and they're gonna have to meet these same criteria.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, let's close out the show and get your T-shirt from TeePublic. We got cool shirts. Summer Slasher Camp shirt. They're on there. You've got one.
I do. I love it.
Yeah, it is pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very bright yellow too.
I like it. Yeah. Yeah.
But also available in other colors.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to contact us. Why don't you send us what 5 tropes you would need for a movie to be a slasher? How about
Ooh,
that?
yeah. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. And maybe, if people sent them in, we could compare them.
Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah, why not? So right on in, corruptedyouthpod
At
gmail.com.
beautiful.
Oh, thank you, son. I appreciate that. Visit us at the Dongle Den on Facebook. It's not bad. It's been kind of fun in there lately, actually.
Yeah, some fun memes.
More
floating
engagement
around.
and stuff. So, yeah. Facebook, not quite the dumpster fire it used to be. I think probably because I've also eliminated some of the few straggler. I'm just going to jump on your post and I'm going to disagree with you. Thanks.
That's annoying. Go away. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't do that to you. Don't do it to me. You're out of here. Bye. But yeah, other than that, thank you to our listeners, the Dongles. And thank you to our fellow podcasters. Thank you for your support. Hang in there, Dongles.
Bye.
Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth!
That's right, folks. In 1 year, my father has not learned how to play the harmonica yet.